Sustenance Festival has been a festival that's run across the city of Vancouver and community centres. It focuses on food, arts and culture. And there's events and workshops and projects that happen across the city during the 2 weeks in October that revolve around World Food Day.
I wanted to create some sort of arena or platform where people could come together to gain a little bit of a deeper connection to their food, and the arts is a really powerful way to do that.
The biggest challenge is always like, how do we connect with those harder to reach community members? They may have illnesses and they're kind of hidden, they may have mobility challenges and aren't able to come to where we are. They may not speak the languages, so we have to really learn how to undo our sort of narrow scope of work.
And now we've entered into, in the year of 2017, into a different kind of Sustenance Festival where we're focusing on a relationship building process rather than a festival. And we are working on that by hiring Steph, who's our interculturalism coordinator, and going out to, Steph's role is to go and meet community leaders who are some way connected to food or the food system, and to kind of hear their stories and understand what's going on in their communities, and to reflect back some of those stories and ways in which we can change the festival and things that are happening in the park board system and community centres.
And so trying to do the work of cultural inclusion in the broadest sense as far as the food movement is concerned, it's important to me to do that inclusion work and to be bringing many voices together and to really be thinking, like hearing from people, not only about like what their needs are, but also what they have to contribute and their solutions as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of the complex issues that we're dealing with are born out of exclusion and social, you can say social injustice. And so by bringing people together, I think helps empower different communities that we work with. And so, you know, finding ways of lending voice to those who are more marginalized.
There's something that is very contradictory about trying to do community development work and being also primarily objective driven. The community development is really about that commitment to the process, and the process in each community is going to look very different.
I spoke with Eva, who is a community leader at South Vancouver Family Place. She runs some of the cooking and gardening programs there. And Eva really made a link between her personal experience of having come to Canada and being an English language learner, thinking about the ways that cooking and eating together in the community setting has been a way for parents and grandparents to build deeper connections and feel a greater sense of belonging in the neighborhood, and also with their children or grandchildren. We wanted to begin building bridges between people who've been excluded and the food movement conversation. So we invited all the sustenance interviewees to the Vancouver Food Summit, which is a pretty unique annual event where community food leaders and interested people come together to share experiences and their knowledge. The summit challenges us to delve into some of those difficult conversations about food, inequality, and colonialism, and what happens next. A lot of the interviews actually were able to come, or they sent volunteers or representatives from their organizations, and they were able to be a part of the day, which I think is a really promising start.
The vision of sustenance is that it's this multiplicity of organizations and people in the community that are engaged, that are coming from a variety of cultural backgrounds, class backgrounds, religious backgrounds, generational backgrounds, or all of the diversity that exists in this city.
So recently, as part of the Sustenance Festival, we held a Jewish Sukkot holiday event here at Britannia Community Center, which is both a harvest celebration as well as a commemoration of the Jewish Exodus. And so we brought together a unique cross-cultural group, including the Jewish Museum and Archives, Taipei, Syrian Catering, and the indigenous community in both the Coast Salish and the Jewish ceremony of feasting. I think this is a really great example of how food can unite people even across difference in community celebration.
It's extremely important to have that kind of consistency. You can't go out and endeavor to build all these relationships and support people and then just drop out. And then we can also have funding to support a role like Stephanie's the interculturalism coordinator role, because without that kind of expertise and like lived experience and sort of network, then we aren't as strong and we can't do this project as well.
A key part of its future success will be to continue to keep building bridges, and to critically examine where we are. It's not something that we can sit on our laurels and just expect that social justice and food justice will just happen.
What is our power to leverage our resources? What is our power to leverage the institutional places where we find ourselves? I think it's really important that the park board is taking these steps, since you can't expect to really have healthy relationships and ongoing relationships with people without doing that foundational work first.
If we really want to change the way that we're doing things to actually support the people that really need it, we need to listen to what they're saying. And I think that really requires us, like anyone in the role of leading, to really quiet down their preconceived ideas about anything and just listen.